Ms. Block?
Here.
Ms. Fields? Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Mordarsky?
Here.
Mr. Morris is here. Ms. Schufelt? Mr. Westfall? Please stand up and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, starting off with good news. MASB reward recognizing trustee Kathy Fields and board treasurer. Mr. Wager.
All right, thank you. I did want to put in the good news tonight that I had received in the last about week and a half a communication and press release from the Michigan Association of School Boards, and they were putting out what school district board members throughout the entire state of Michigan were being honored with awards. And I was very happy to see on the list that Kathy Fields was one of the ones being honored by the Michigan Association of School Boards. She is receiving a Level 1 Certified Board Member Certificate from the MASB, and it is a true statement of the dedication that Ms. Fields has put forward in terms of learning her role and taking on the professional development and all the items that MASB provides to board members throughout the state of Michigan. So I wanted to take this time and recognize the work that she has put in, and I'm very proud that she is receiving this award from MASB. So congratulations, Kathy. Also, before we kind of move on to the next part, if you've noticed, especially I think if you're in the online audience, you're seeing a little bit different camera angle than we've had because we have upgraded the capabilities and the technology that we have here in the boardroom. So we're in the process of getting all new microphones. I know we have a few still on back order that are coming in, but it's going to make us to be able to have better presentations in this space, better to use this space for professional development purposes during the school day, just for a variety of items, and it's really good to see this moving along and have this capability. So.
Okay, moving on to the agenda on discussion items. Revisions and approval of the agenda, policy number 0166. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Morris. Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Modarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Schufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
That passes 6-0.
Okay, thank you for that. Moving on to discussion items. First item being 2026-2027 E-rate worksheet. Mr. Ross?
All right, so I've got an E-rate presentation for, hold on, waiting for the presentation. Who needs a presentation? We'll catch up when it pops up. Oh, there it is. So I'm going to introduce E-rate really quick since we've had some changeover. On the first slide, it kind of shows the importance of technology in the district. What E-rate does is it allows us to have access to high-speed internet access throughout the district, and it supports our growing technology needs as the needs arise. It also creates digital equity so that we don't have to have a ton of money to be able to afford these things. E-rate comes in two different categories. Category one is the delivery of these services. This would be similar to you having internet at your home. So that's covered at a cost of only 10% to the district. And then there's category 2, which covers things like internal network cabling, if we were to recable a building, your wireless access points, and the accessories that go with those, up into and including the installation and labor. And it also helps us create these collaborative learning environments that you can only have with this type of technology, and helps us keep up with everybody else. Slide 3 shows us how it works. Again, with category 1, we get discounts of up to 90% on those deliveries. And then with category 2, it's a discount of up to 85%. You'll see that later when I show you the costs. But E-Rate is specifically designed to support K-12 districts and libraries across the United States. And if you want to know where the money comes that pays for it, you just look at your cell phone bills and you'll see that there's an FCC surcharge, and those go to support the E-Rate program. And in order to get the things that we need, we have to go through a competitive bid process and do our due diligence before we go ahead and make any moves. On slide 4, it shows what the impact is, specifically to our district. Again, you don't have to be in a wealthy area to afford these things because we have E-Rate to help us with those services. Otherwise, and you'll see on a later slide how much those things would cost without the E-Rate program. It also allows us the ability to have our network infrastructure current. Another thing with category 2 is the network hardware. So without updated hardware, it doesn't matter what speed internet you have, you're just not going to deliver the speeds that you're purchasing. On the next slide, Kathy, I skipped a slide for you to keep it short. So what I did is I went straight to the recommended bids for approval. So you'll see that for the, well, what are we doing? One, you're probably aware of the utility building that's moving in the next year or so. And what we need to do is make sure that the Fisher building has internet access and ability to get to district resources. So with that being said, we had to do a category 1 bid that would supply that service. We had 2 bids. One was Crown Castle, they're our current service provider. Then the other one was AT&T. In bold, you'll see that over an 84-month contract, we'll be saving almost $34,000 going with our current provider, which is Crown Castle, rather than AT&T. The biggest reason for that is because we already had a Crown Castle circuit that was pulled out before the demolition of our old board office. And so that's been sitting there unused for, since that time. And rather than having to run a new route from PRC over to the new Fisher building, Crown Castle was just able to reuse that, and we recoup those costs over the remaining length of that contract. The one-time cost of doing that move is $58,560. Now our estimated cost, again, we're only paying 10% of that, so our upfront cost will be $5,860. And then the 84-month monthly recurring cost is $287 a month. Again, that'll equate to a cost of $28.70 a month because we're only paying 10% of that. The other bid was a category 2 bid. There was some network hardware in there to finish off a refresh around the district. And then there was also, I think there was just a little bit of a refresh for a couple of closets that needed some new network switches. We're also upgrading a couple UPSs around the district to help stabilize when we have some power issues in those areas. So with that being said, we only had 1 bid, and that's due to channel locking. So Cisco will, in our area, only sells through 1 vendor. So we really don't have much of a choice since it's channel locked. So the total cost of that project is $46,335. Now the E-Rate estimated cost, which is what we believe that our cost will be, is $6,867.60. The reason why I say it's an estimated cost is because with category 2, sometimes the amount is 81% and it's up to 85%. And how that works is there's what's called SPI and BEAR billing, and both of those work a little bit differently. With SPI, which is what we prefer, we have our vendor actually go through USAC to apply with the 471 on our behalf. And then the 471 is the documentation that we have to provide to USAC in order for the approval to happen. So with that being said, what we would prefer that our vendor does that on our behalf. Saves us a little bit more time, but also allows those billing credits to be billed up front. And then with all of those bill credits, we essentially don't see a bill until it kicks in. So it's an upfront thing rather than us having to pay the full construction costs of the $58,000, and instead they pay it and then they see the reimbursement. Now, BEAR works where we file the 471 to USAC, they approve it, we pay the full amount, and then we get the reimbursements over time. The other thing that we did was, no, I think that's it. No, nothing complicated there. It's pretty standard, and we're reserving a lot of our Category 2 budget over the next 5 years here because we're entering a new E-rate cycle this year. An E-rate cycle is 5 years. With our student count, we're expecting around $1.1 million in E-rate funding that we're allowed to spend over the next 5 years. And we're keeping as much as possible and doing the bare minimum because we can utilize Category 2 funding for the high school when we start having to recable that, and we'll have those needs because that's probably going to be in excess of around $250,000 to rewire that building. Other than that, I don't have much else. So do you have any questions about that?
I don't think so. Thank you very much. And then you ready to present on your second discussion item?
I am. I don't have a presentation for this one. This one will go pretty quick. This is our standard spring grant purchases that we make. These this year it's just things, laptops, Chromebooks, and smart boards. The smart boards, I'll go with that one first. That's 39 additional smart boards that are going to complete the project over at Hoover and West. And that's for a total of $132,624.60. Last year we did half of our middle schools. This year we're capping that off and finishing that project. With the laptops, these are 70 laptops to support staff and students at a cost of $59,335.50. And Chromebooks, we have 4 different quotes that we're asking for approval for. With the elementaries, we have 1,242 Chromebooks that we're asking to purchase at $437,506.92. At the high school, this is our normal cycle for the 9th grade level, and it's $123,133.50. And then we're doing 360 Chromebooks for each of our middle schools at a cost of around $165,000 about. The grand total of these 3 items that are completely grant funded it was $928,010.52, and that's what we're looking for approval for on that one tonight. And I think that's all I have for that. So does anybody have any questions about any of that technology?
I just have one,
Sure.
and it's irrelevant to this, but not exactly on this topic. What is our attrition rate with the Chromebooks per year due to student misuse or et cetera?
It's a really good question. I have a lot to say about that. And I won't bore you with too much, but yeah, it depends on the level. Did a study last year and we were at about 20%, and it doesn't mean that they're totally destroyed devices, though that's a 20% damage rate at a minimum. The high school's a little bit better. In the elementary schools, we saw a drastic improvement where we brought them back in the classrooms, I think 3 years ago at this point. So we made a decision where we're going to bring them back into classrooms in the middle school level as well, and we're doing that next year. And part of this purchase is to do a little bit of a refresh so that we have good technology for years to come in the classrooms. That was something that we talked with the principals over there about, and everybody was in agreement because of that high rate of damage. But with that being said, the high school rate is a little bit lower. We're looking at around 15% damage rate. And that's not great, but the norm for most school districts is 10 to 15% at that age group. So I wouldn't say we're bad there, but at the middle school, we were definitely higher than the norm. So what we're trying to do here, you know, the other side of this is normally we wouldn't purchase quite as many as we're doing here. There were the funds that were available, and the reason why we're doing it is there's a shortage on chips,
Yeah.
and there is a shortage on memory. And a lot of these companies are designating their business and consumer markets into the AI data centers that are going in, which I think we're all guilty of utilizing it, and we love it, but it's hurting us. And so I've also heard from an insider that HP is pulling quotes that they guaranteed through the end of the month and saying that they're no longer honoring it. And they can get away with that within the REMC language. So at this point in the year, they can do that. So HP's pulling back. We're a Dell shop and a Lenovo shop. So far, so good. I'm hearing a report though on Thursday from one of my reps because he has a Dell call today actually. So I'm hoping for good news that they're going to continue to honor the quotes that are current. But specifically with the elementary, we did go a little bit higher than we normally would for a recycle on this year, but that's going to put us ahead a year, and I'm really hoping that next year we don't have to do any cycle. We're just doing small amounts for maintenance at that point, which, like I was saying, at the elementary level is pretty minimal.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ross. Moving on to discussion item 3, roof bids. There are 5 of them.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So we put out some bids for the next round of roofs that we'd like to get replaced. The first 4 buildings, we did receive 4 bids each, and then the last building, Taylor Parks, we received 3 bids. So for Kenyon, to replace zones 1, 1A, and 2, we received 4 bids. Schreiber Roofing for $884,300. Sheena Roofing was $999,900. Lutz Roofing was $935,110. And Royal Roofing was $1,614,800. After looking through the bids, we recommend going with Schreiber Roofing to complete the roof replacement at Kenyon Elementary. The second roof we put out, the second bid was for McDowell Elementary. We received 4 bids for that also. The first bid from Schreiber Roofing was $252,600. Sheena Roofing was $1,485,780. Lutz Roofing, we received $1,262,100. And Royal Roofing was $2,039,500. After going through those bids, we recommend going through Schreiber Roofing for that building also. The third building, which was Moody, we are looking to replace zones 1, 2, and 3. We received 4 bids for that building also. Schreiber Roofing was $1,003,900. Sheena Roofing was $1,170,790. Lutz Roofing was $992,860. And Royal Roofing was $1,602,800. After checking those bids, we recommend going with Lutz Roofing on that building. The next roof was Randall to replace zones 1, 2, 3, 3B, 4, and 5. We received 4 bids for that. Schreiber Roofing was $1,241,500. Sheena Roofing was $1,286,050. Lutz Roofing, $1,212,060. and Royal Roofing was $1,856,800. We recommend going with Lutz Roofing for that building. And the final building we had was Taylor Parks to replace zones 1A, 1B, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We received 3 bids for that. Schreiber Roofing was at $442,800. Sheena Roofing was at $402,700, and Lutz Roofing was at $655,200, and we recommend going with Sheena Roofing. And that's all I have.
So, if I may, what was the deciding factor on all these bids? Was it being the cheapest?
No, we've worked with all 3 contractors.
Okay.
So we just basically, we just went through, we went by the price, but we also know their work because they've done work multiple times in the district.
Okay.
So that's how we decided that.
I just wanted to say I like how you break it down by buildings. That saves a lot of money that way. 'Cause I've seen other groups, they bundle the buildings together and you don't get the best price. So thank you for doing
Yeah,
it
we've
this way.
tried that before and it was outrageous.
It is, yeah, when you don't bundle and save with this, you really don't.
Right, no, you don't.
Now, my question is this coming from general fund?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I was going to clarify that because it is, we talked about it in the budget amendment at the last meeting that this is covered in that, but there is an infrastructure grant with the state of Michigan that we are trying to tap into, but we haven't seen the application yet. It's my sources who I've been talking to and trying to figure it out. The latest I heard is March 1st, they're going to have that out. But so, yeah, I'm going to do my best to make sure that we grant fund this if possible. But as of right now, it'll be general fund.
Yeah, and after our first round of roofs we did last summer, we did see probably a 60% decrease in our repair costs. So, I mean, it is helping. These are the next set of roofs that really need to be done.
And how long do they last for, are we estimating?
They're warranted for 20 years, but these roofs last at least 30, 35. I mean, we've had, the roofs we've had on now for, some are 30, 40 years old, but there is a 20-year warranty on all of the roofing.
Thank you.
How does this bring us along? Because I know this was part of our strategic plan. Roofs were very
This will
much
be-
part of it.
This will be 10 buildings, 10 out
Fantastic.
of 18 that we've had re-roofed. Yeah.
The buildings that only have some of the roofs that are getting
Yes.
replaced, what does the other parts of those roofs
The other
look
ones were
like?
replaced in 2017. There
Okay, so
was
they're still
a-
fairly-
Yeah,
okay.
so we still got another 13, 14 years. So I thought there's no sense in, replacing what we still have a warranty for, so.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure if,
Yeah,
like, there were
yeah.
issues with those parts of the roof? Should
No.
they be looked at, replaced, or whatever?
No,
so-
we do a 6-month inspection twice a year, and those areas of the roofs are still in great shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I noticed that of these buildings, you're really working with 3 different companies, right?
We are.
Does that mean that they could start all around the same time?
Yes, we are going to start these day 1 of summer. So we will start the first day, there's no students. Last year, we did do it when we had students in the building, and there was an issue with some of the smell, for it. So we just decided, we'll wait, and we'll start this the second week of June.
Okay, we know leaky roofs are the talk of the town, so.
They are, and this is probably the worst time of the year now with the thaw. Yep, so we've had some issues, but, we haven't had any issues with our new stuff. But we have had, some freeze thaw that causes problems every year.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the ones we did last year and why we started while there was school still in was because those were in desperate need compared to what
yeah,
we're doing now.
They
Yeah.
needed to be done ASAP. That's why we started those early. These, we are going to hold off until school gets out.
You're starting the tile work too, the ceiling tile at West too, right?
We are. I don't have that bid yet. I'm bringing that forward in the next few weeks, but I did put out bids to replace the ceiling and lights at West Middle School. Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Thank you, Jack.
All right, thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 4, Section 27L, TPA, TFT, TACSA, and 26M.
All right, so tonight I'm bringing forward to you the board 4 MOUs, one for each of our bargaining units. To give you a little background on what these MOUs entail is when the state was putting together the budget last season and during the budget season, there was a big push for there to be some sort of relief given from the state of Michigan to public school employees when it came to the increasing costs of healthcare and the increasing costs of retirement. And so as that process morphed and you had the different proposals going back and forth between the House, the Senate, the governor, what it came to in the final product is this pot of money that is called 27L. And what the budget required us to do was that we were going to get a set amount from the state, which was roughly $770,000. And then it was our job to take that money, split it amongst our employees, and bargain with our unions as to what that looks like and how that breaks down. So essentially, it was money that was given and it had to go to employees of the school district. And what I have before you is the documents, because it had to be bargained, that we officially have to vote through and put that money out to our employees.
Any questions or comments? No? Okay, moving on to public comment pertaining to agenda items only. Is there anyone that'd like to speak to the board about agenda items? Okay, let me just read this little bit real quick. Thank you to all of you who can be with us tonight. We understand the importance of continuing to keep you informed and providing an opportunity for you to be heard. Public comment will begin with those in person and then move to our online audience. For those in person, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. And after the in-person comment, our online audience will need to raise their hand, find the hand raise symbol for our moderator to recognize and unmute you. Please take into consideration common courtesy. Refrain from any personal attacks and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. We will provide and assist with timekeeping, so each guest will be able to monitor their own time and know when to conclude, so all who wish to speak will have an equal opportunity to do so. As a reminder, if any questions arise during this meeting or through other avenues, Superintendent Wager or his designee will work to provide answers in a timely manner. Please note that the views and opinions expressed by individual board members are their own and do not necessarily represent the official position or consensus of the Board of Education. Also note, this portion of the meeting is reserved for comments regarding business discussed on this agenda only. There will be another opportunity for comments later in the meeting for general comments. I would like to remind everyone, that this is a public meeting held in accordance with the Michigan Open Meetings Act. This meeting is being audio and or video recorded, and the recording may be broadcast or made available to the public. After you.
Hi, my name's Amanda. I just had a question about the roof bids. I think it was about a year ago, there was a big old letter that went out about saying that Taylor Parks was originally gonna get closed down. So I'm just wondering if we're putting like roof bids on a school that's gonna be closed down, what's going on with that? Because that was the last I heard of it. I haven't heard anything else about that. And I just know that we've talked about putting money towards things that hasn't happened before. So for that to be out there, just kind of want to know what's going on with it.
Yeah, I can answer that real easily. Yeah, we communicated a while back that all the work that was in that utilization plan is not going forward at this point. So as of right now, every intention is that Taylor Parks is remaining open. So, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in person? Is there anyone online? Okay, thank you. Moving on.
Action item number 1 is the budget amendment. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the budget amendment that the Chief Financial Officer presented to the board on February 4th, 2026. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Morris. Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Schufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Number 2 is the 2026-2027 E-rate worksheet approval. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the 2026-2027 E-rate funding request for Category 1 and Category 2, spending between the Taylor School District and selected vendors, Crown Castle and Intercom, regarding the infrastructure and network connectivity upgrades for the 2026-2027 school year as presented. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Black. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Morris. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore is excused. That passes 6-0. Number 3 is the 2025-2026 Technology Grant Budget Approval. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the 2025-2026 Technology Grant Budget for the purchase of classroom laptops, student Chromebooks, and smartboards between the Taylor School District and selected vendors. People Driven Technology, CDW, Bloom, is that right?
I would assume so.
And Fort, regarding the annual purchase cycle for technology needs for the 2025-2026 school year as presented. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Morris. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Number 4 is the Moody Elementary roof replacement. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve Resolution 2564, awarding the contract for Moody Elementary roof replacement for zones 1, 2, and 3 to Lutz Roofing of Shelby Township, Michigan, in the amount of $992,860. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Westfall. Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Number 5 is the McDowell Elementary roof replacement. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve Resolution 2564, awarding the contract for the McDowell Elementary roof replacement to Schreiber Roofing of Taylor, Michigan, in the amount of $1,252,600. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Medarsky. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Morris. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. That passes 6-0. Number 6 is the Kenyon Elementary roof replacement. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve Resolution 2564, awarding the contract for Kenyon Elementary roof replacement Zone 1, 1A, and 2 to Schreiber Roofing of Taylor, Michigan, in the amount of $884,300. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there a second?
Support.
By Mr. Morris. Ms. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Number 7 is Randall Elementary roof replacement. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve Resolution 2564, awarding the contract for Randall Elementary roof replacement for zones 1, 2, 3, 3B, 4, and 5 to Lutz Roofing of Shelby Township, Michigan, in the amount of $1,212,060. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Morris. Is there a second?
Second.
Support by Mr. Medarsky. Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yep.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Number 8 is the Taylor Parks Elementary roof replacement. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the acceptance for bid 2666 and award a contract to Sheena Roofing in the amount of $402,700 for Taylor Parks Elementary School roof replacement of zones 1A, 1B, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Medarsky. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Westfall. Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Number 9 is the Memorandum of Understanding with TPA, Section 27L, Educator Compensation. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the Memorandum of Understanding between the Taylor School District and the Taylor Principals Association Local 60 regarding the distribution of Section 27L to Educator Compensation Fund for the 2025-2026 school year as presented. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Block. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Morris. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore is excused. That passes 6-0. Number 10 is the Memorandum of Understanding with TFT, Section 27L, Educator Compensation. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the Memorandum of Understanding between the Taylor School District and the Taylor Federation of Teachers, AFT Local 1085, regarding the distribution of Section 27L2 Educator Compensation Funds for the 2025-2026 school year as presented. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Westfall. Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Number 11 is the Memorandum of Understanding with the TAXA Section 27L Educator Compensation. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the Memorandum of Understanding between the Taylor School District and the Taylor Association of Central Staff Administrators, Local 214 Teamsters, regarding the distribution of Section 27L2 Educator Compensation Fund for the 2025-2026 school year as presented. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Number 12 is the Memorandum of Understanding for 26M, Section 27L Educator Compensation. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the Memorandum of Understanding between the Taylor School District and the Taylor School Support Staff Association, TSSA, regarding the distribution of Section 27L to Educator Compensation Funds for the 2025-2026 school year as presented. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Westfall. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. That passes 6-0. Moving on is the agenda, consent agenda, policy number 016.1, policy number 6470, policy number 8640, and policy number 2304. Minutes from the Committee of the Whole Board meeting on February 4th, 2026, consolidated items, payment of current bills, certified, non-certified, and administrative reports, out-of-state overnight field trips, out-of-state overnight grant-funded conferences. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Morris. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Block. Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Medarsky?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt is a yes. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Over to you. Thank you.
Got to remember to turn on my microphone now, so. Thank you very much. I do have a few things I want to touch on real quick. The first one is something that has been going around the news lately and across different platforms of media, and this regards one of the vendors that lots of schools use across the state of Michigan, and that would be Life Touch for school pictures. Currently, right now, we are in the process of going through and reviewing the relationship that we do have with Life Touch. They do not provide school pictures to all of our buildings because typically school pictures have been left to building level decision making. And so we have 3 of our buildings who do not use Life Touch. They already use a different vendor, but as I say, we do have 7 others that do. So in light of what has been going on and what's being reported, we're just taking that moment to review what that relationship is, to review what privacy standards are put in place by Life Touch or any picture company that we go ahead and partner with. But we are taking that moment to take this seriously and to give it a good look and see exactly what the nature of these allegations and those pieces are. So I don't have answers as of tonight because this just came to light, I want to say to me last Tuesday, right before I left for the National AASA conference. So I knew when I came back, this was going to be one of those first things on my plate is to do that review and start looking into the nature of our partnership with them. But that is what we will be doing going forward. On to other items. We said this last week that we are having a groundbreaking ceremony for when we start the work on our athletic fields. That is going to be March 26th is when that is going to take place, the groundbreaking. We are hoping to get started with the actual work and get things rolling as soon as we can in March, but this has been an exceptional winter. It's felt great today, I know, but we needed to hold on like today so that we can start and make sure everything proceeds as needed and everything will be on time. So, but we are going to start celebrating this upgrade that we are bringing to our athletic facilities on March 26th. Third thing I have tonight, I want to thank the board for supporting me in going to the national conference last week, the ASA National Conference on Education. It was always a great opportunity for us for me to not only get learning and talk to vendors and talk to different superintendents around the country and bring some of the good things that they're doing back to our district, but it is also a place for us to share the good things that we are doing and share some of the things that we can help other districts with as well. I do want to share one of the most interesting things that I had happen to me is I attended a certain roundtable session, and I sit down and it's being presented by a superintendent from Connecticut. And he says to me, he's like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I said, "Well, I'm the superintendent of the Taylor School District in Taylor, Michigan." And he looks at me and he's like, "Get out of here." I said, "Why? What's the deal?" And he's like, "I started my teaching career at Kennedy High School when Wayne Hamilton was principal at Kennedy High School. So went halfway across the country to run into a fellow superintendent from Connecticut who started his career here in Taylor Schools. Paul Breton. He was an English teacher at Kennedy. And then it got funnier because as he starts to do his intro and he's introducing himself to the whole group that was sitting at his table for this presentation, he then goes, "Well, and I grew up in Dearborn, Michigan." And I said, "Wait a minute, I grew up in Dearborn, Michigan." So again, halfway around the country to find somebody. I grew up in the same city and we both were teaching in Taylor Schools at the same time. Him at Kennedy, I was at West at the time, but just crazy coincidence that we had that happen. I will say we got a lot of good information for things that can tie to our strategic plan. One of the big ones is we have in our strategic plan goals is centered around staff wellness. And I attended a session that had some great materials that we already have a lot of, and it seems like we can just take a lot of the tools we have, organize it in the manner that this district in Wisconsin had done, and it'll be pretty easy lift for us to make that happen and meet that goal that we put forward as a board to better meet the needs of our staff. And that was just one example. Like I said, lots of other things that we did bring back as well. I also made sure that when I was going around, because they have a hall where there's different vendors and they're kind of providing what services and what things they can bring, is I've heard loud and clear from the community, and I've heard loud and clear from my student advisory group that there is a concern with safety in our schools. And I think it's a concern everywhere, but there's particularly that's been voiced. So when I talked to Michelle Marshall, our Director of Security, before I went to the conference, she wanted me to reach out, make sure I was checking in with some vendors that might be able to provide us other options in terms of keeping our rooms secure and doing that piece as well. So it was great to be able to network and get that information that she requires for her job. And finally, as I said, one of the great things is the opportunity for us to share. And I ran a session for other superintendents where myself and Dr. Anderson from Wyandotte Schools presented about our student advisory program. And they upgraded us from last year. I presented and it was just at a small round table. Well, this year was a full auditorium, but it was in the last time slot on the last day of the conference before everybody was ready to go out and have dinner and do all those pieces. So it was a little more intimidating to be like, oh, I'm the last thing stopping you from going out and getting on with your day at this point. But it was a great presentation, and it's great to be able to share how much we do here in Taylor Schools and in Wyandotte Schools, who partnered with me on this, how much we are allowing students to have a voice and be part of what we do and be part of the decisions we make at this level. So the last thing, like I said, that's the conference. But unfortunately, I do have to close on a more somber note tonight. So if you've seen in the news, you know, our Taylor Schools community, we had quite a tragedy last week when one of our young students, Jacob from Hoover, was struck by a car on Eureka Road, and he passed away as a result of being struck by that car. Jacob was a student who was new to us. He'd only been with us a week and a half, but it was something to say how much of an impact he had already had on the Hoover staff and the Hoover family, that several of the students and the staff had really commented about the positivity and what he brought in that short time that he was there. It was also when I was on my way to the conference as well, I had the opportunity to speak to the E-Course superintendent, Josh Tallison, and because that is where this young man had gone to school before coming to Taylor, and he said only the nicest things, and what a great student he was while he was at E-Course Public Schools as well. So quite a tragedy for this to happen to this young man and for that to befall that family. In addition to that, one of the long members of our community, the Taylor Schools community, Terry Dangerfield, Sr., had passed away last week as well. And he spent 37 years here in the Taylor School District as a mechanic. He was a product of the Taylor Schools for his education, for his schooling. And when I reached out to his son, Terry Dangerfield, who is the superintendent at Lincoln Park, he shared that his father had nothing but pride for the fact that he had Taylor roots and that he went to the school district and that he put 37 years in the school district as a bus mechanic. So our thoughts are going out to Terry's family as well tonight. And that's why I do want to close with a moment of silence for Jacob and Terry. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for that update. Item scheduled for next agenda, Wednesday, March 4th, 2026, is good news and student representatives. And now we're moving on to the general public comment, policy 0167.3. Is there anyone that'd like to address the board on any topic? Okay, let me just finish off this part right here. As mentioned earlier in the meeting, we will now open the floor for general public comment. The same guidelines previously outlined will remain in effect, and any questions at this meeting, Superintendent Wager or his designee will work on getting those answers to you in a timely manner. We'll begin with those in person and move to our online audience.
Hi, my name is Amanda. I just had a question. When we send out permission slips, because my child just got two permission slips actually, and they were both very different, but they were both relatively about something that didn't have to do with school necessarily. But one of them was, yes, I want my child to go, or no, I don't want my child to go, while the other one said, I don't want my child to participate. Moving forward, if we have to send permission slips home, can we just put yes or no on all of the permission slips? Because if a parent doesn't get it or doesn't see it for whatever reason, then the kid's opted into it already. But if you have the other one that says, yes, I want my kid to go, or no, I don't, and the parent doesn't see it and they don't fill it out, what happens then? So it just gets a little bit confusing. Why are some permission slips have a yes or no and other ones it's just an opt-out? So if maybe moving forward, we could keep the, yes, I want my kid to participate, or no, I don't. So it doesn't get confusing. We don't have parents like, what are you guys trying to hide type deal.
That's very reasonable. Thank you for sharing with that. We can have some uniformity in our opt-out forms for sure.
My name is Martin Juilliard. I live at 6708 Beach Daly Road. First thing I want to ask is, are all these meetings recorded?
Yes.
So there are a way that I can get the...
Yep, on our website.
Okay. The other thing is, can I get a listing of everything that these bonds have been used for since you've gotten them, and what, moving forward, you're going to use them for?
I think you would need to reach out to Becky, make sure she has your contact information. She's my administrative assistant, and then we can provide information from there.
Okay. I also run a podcast here in the city called Taylor Uncovered, and I offer that to any one of you that would like to come on and answer some of our questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, to the superintendent, just to follow up on this, because we get asked this a lot, wasn't the last big thing we used the bonds for the athletic field? Didn't that basically close out the first tranche of bonds?
Yeah, pretty much. Anything that was in that first round of sales, the last big piece was the athletics that is going forward. Anything else that we're planning or coming down the road would require us to be in the sales of the next two sets.
Thank you, that's what I thought, yeah.
Yep.
We covered that at a previous meeting, yeah.
Yep.
Anyone else in person would like to address the board? Is there anyone online that would like to address the board?
Hello, Bethany Pavey, 6036 Mayfair Street. I just very quickly wanted to draw your attention to the parking lot that services both Kenyon Elementary School and West Middle School. It's rough. So I know we're in the middle of winter right now, but at the beginning of the school year, it was rough, and I'm sure you can understand that it's just gotten in worse shape as winter has gone on. So hopefully somebody can find somewhere in the budget to do some serious repairs instead of patchwork to that parking lot. And that was all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. We'll definitely look into it.
Yeah, and I can say, Jack and I have spoken. One of the big things we're doing is when the grant opens for the infrastructure money from the state, parking lots is very much on our list of what we want to ask money for, so.
Okay, is there anyone else online?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Courtney Prout. I was just wondering if there's any clear answers. I've been contacting Superintendent Mr. Weger multiple times on this. There was an individual listed on the district website as a certified teacher a while back, yet Michigan credential record showed no certification. After I raised the concern, I was told it was a system transfer error, and it was just kind of dropped at that. That individual has since been removed as a teacher from the website, but reclassified as other and still in that room. I have sent multiple emails to the superintendent and have not received a response. So tonight I'm asking publicly if the board could tell me or write to the community who is the certified teacher of record in the ASD room at Kenyon, and what credentials do the current staff members hold in that room? Because from what I can tell, based on the website and based on looking through the educator credential system of Michigan, I don't see anybody in either of those rooms with a certified educator other than a sub permit. And that's not, the greatest. And I also wanted to address one other issue, the recent ICE protest involving students from the Taylor School District. I know this has been huge on social media right now with lots of districts, but social media showed that our students walking out in large groups, marching down Goddard Road, chanting profanity, and disrupting the school day. District policy does allow that these students have expression. I do see that in policy, but it does state that only when it does not interrupt learning or create safety risks. Based on what was posted on social media, that's from TikTok, Snapchat, lots of different outlets. This was both disruptive and unsafe for these students. I mean, you had as young as freshman kids walking down Goddard Road by themselves, some without parental notice or understanding what was happening. So my question was, how is this handled what is the protocol when students leave campus in large groups like this? And what is being done to prevent another walkout like this that puts these students at risk on a main road? Not only was it upsetting to see our city represented this way with students chanting profanity at cars as they drove by, but also to think that, my child or anyone's children could be walking down Goddard Road without any knowledge is really concerning regardless of the situation at hand or what they're protesting. That is not acceptable. Our job is to send our kids to school every day, and your job is to protect them. And I feel that you letting them leave the school in large crowds and walk down main roads is not protecting our students. I'm asking for accountability. I'm asking for clear answers on this, and what is the protocol moving forward? Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comments online? Okay, that will conclude our public comment period. Board member comments. Would anyone like to, make a comment?
I would. I have one question for Jack, and then I have something to read. Excuse me. Is there, when we vote on when there's multiple, like the roofs, do we legally have to vote on them separate, or can you present them separately and we can vote on them
I could answer that for
all at one time?
We could have revised the agenda to approve them all at the same time, but having it go one at a time would allow Jack to articulate himself on why he thought each person was, or each bidding group was the right one for that particular project.
No, that's not my point. My point is, that was in discussion, and he went through everything for us. In the actual vote, instead of voting each one separately, could we have, I didn't know if there was something you had to follow that we had to do it separate.
No, it's just, if maybe you only want to approve 3 buildings instead of the 5 or something. I mean, I think that would be the only reason
Yeah.
why we vote separately.
Okay. The other thing I have is we just received another handwritten note from Sue Vocal. She's a volunteer and the vice president of the Board of Fish and Loaves, and I'd like to share it with you. She said, "Dear Taylor School District personnel, I'm writing to thank you for all of your help and kindness with our recent Santa's Magic Forest fundraiser. You really were a lifesaver for this event. Eureka Heights turned out to be a wonderful place for this initiative. I hope you had the opportunity to visit. I felt it was the best place yet to host the forest. There was a certain feeling of serenity and wonder which was verified by many who attended. Again, thank you for helping us raise much-needed funds and for helping to make this a fun event for many." So I want to thank her for the nice comments. I know I went. I know I saw Corey, Mark was there, Mike was there. So it was a good event.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Thank you, Mrs. Fields. Would anyone else like to share a comment?
John, you might be able to answer my question. Regarding the protests, can you touch base on that at all? On how, like, as a district, we could or couldn't, or what those might have looked like as far as, like, preventing or...
Yeah, so obviously this was an issue outside, not just in Taylor, but school districts throughout so this was an issue outside, not just in Taylor, but school districts throughout the state and throughout the country. And so, in general, students have a right of expression within our school buildings, but there's a case going back to the area of the Vietnam War that says that students do not have unfettered rights, and so if their expression causes a material substantial disruption, a school district may in fact stop that expression or discipline a student for that expression, but there has to be that actual substantial disruption. And then we also have the right as a school district to maintain our actual rules and policies. So if we have class from 8 to 8:50, so we can require students to be in class, and if they leave the class, we can provide them with a tardy or an absence and follow our code of conduct as we would for anything else. Students could still express themselves, but they can have consequences for that expression as well. I don't know the details about going down Goddard. Obviously, that's not necessarily a student expression issue. That becomes more of, if we do have obligations to maintain safety of our students, and so, if they're leaving campus, I don't know off the top of my head if we have off-campus, or closed campus language in our code of conduct. Some school districts I work with do, and that became an issue when I was looking at this last week. But those are some of the nuances we'd have to get into for each individual building you have.
Okay.
If that answers your question or not, to some extent.
Could you email us?
Limitations to us, like if we have 60 kids coming at us, like how are we supposed to be like, we only have so many security, so many adults, you can't put your hands on the kids, you can't do this, you can't, like, what do you do?
Correct.
So-
I mean, I just, with this was not in Taylor, but I was asked questions like, can we lock the doors? Can we handcuff kids? The answers
Yeah.
are no, we cannot do those things. But we can enforce our code of conduct and our policies regarding attendance, and other things if we have, specific things in our code of conduct regarding some of those expression pieces.
In the 90s, we had a small walkout at Taylor Center High School. And those students walked out, and they were not stopped. They walked out. The teachers who were missing them and the administration that knew them, each student received a day off in suspension. The one they had on Goddard was after school. I drove by it. They were doing their thing on the corner of Goddard and Beach daily, expressing themselves, but that had nothing to do with the school time. So as far as stopping them, I think that's only going to stir up more of a problem. These are young adults, so following our school code of conduct and them having to be accountable for doing that, absolutely.
I was just going to ask if you could send us a little bit of a more thorough opinion on that when you have some time in the near future.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Right, because it sounds like once school is out, they're just citizens, and any traffic control, so forth, would be on Taylor PD. Wouldn't be our responsibility at that point, right?
Right, unless they were
Like for any
involved-
other protest or anything, yeah.
Unless it's extracurricular activities that they're involved in,
Right.
but yes.
Yeah, that is where you get into some interesting points, because if it's after school and it's disrupting the flow of our buses, or it's disrupting how our after-school activities runs or athletics, then it still could be deemed under the law a significant disruption of the school. So it would all depend on the nuance and exactly how things play out.
But there were two separate
Yes.
walkouts.
Yep.
One
Right.
was after school, and the other one was
Yep.
during the school time.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Morris. I'd like to get a copy of that, too. I'm glad you asked for that.
Any other comments from the board? Okay, moving on to adjournment.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Schufelt.
Second?
Second by Mr. Mordarski. Ms. Moore is excused. Mr. Mordarski?
Yes.
Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Schufelt?
Yes.
Mr. Westfall? Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields? That carries 6-0, and we are adjourning our meeting at 7:04. Enjoy your afternoons and evenings, everyone.